Join Joe, John, and Jim as they discuss the biggest stories in the world of sports.
You put them all together, it makes a nice package, right?
Get ready
for passionate and intelligent conversation about the biggest issues and personalities in sports.
It's unscripted.
Somehow got mono. God knows who he was making out with.
Some people call him dirty. I like to call him creative.
It's unfiltered.
I'm going to need another beer soon.
And I said, well, hold, you're making my point, right?
My thoughts are I'm going to call my therapist after the show is what I'm going to do.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the Bean Apple, the Week 11 recap. The Patriots and Texans, the roller coaster ride season for the New England Patriots continues. Right. When you thought it was a nice, easy downward, it's the waves continue. Right. So we got John. How about them Cowboys? And Jim's back again. Talk about some football, the thing that we love the most. So how you guys doing?
Just
good.
Good. So what a week, huh? What an absolute week across the NFL.
Across the NFL, yes.
Brutal.
Absolute mayhem. Mm-hmm. That's all it was. Just absolute. Even last night's game, taking it right to the end, the Raiders. Mm-hmm. The Raiders almost took it to the Chiefs 2 times.
Again.
Yeah. Sweep the series almost. Wow. Yeah.
Couldn't believe that. But that really encompasses what the entire week was made of. It was just insane. So let's stick with our focal point here. So please, before we dive into that, please hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, set it to all so you get all of our notifications. You know when you're on, when we're on, and you can jump on, interact with us as much as you want. Drop your questions, drop your comments. Patriots fans out there, please. I know there's a lot going on emotionally and mentally for you right now. Please use this as a sounding board to just kind of get those feelings out. Don't keep them all held tight, right? Because it's going to burst. So trust me, from being a Jets fan, Giants fan over the last couple of years, you just got to get it out. You just got to let it go. John doesn't know how to handle that. He's still trying to figure it out as we go. Yeah.
I still don't know how to act. I don't know what to do with my hands. It's weird.
Yeah, but
no, can't do this. No,
I can't. That's what I mean. There's no clapping yesterday.
No. So let's take a look at this. So the key takeaway here, and we'll switch over, is I think Deshaun Jackson, right? Deshaun Watson is the absolute key to this entire game. What a performance! Let's cue it up. Take a look here. Overall, outstanding. So you can see just one after another. Here we go, drops back, boom, picking them apart.
But that wasn't an easy pass there either.
No. Set it right in there. Here we go. Evading, wow. And two defenders.
Push the 2 linemen in.
2 defenders. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. And
wow, linebacker and a cornerback. Wow,
man, look at that. Who's that McCourty guy?
McCourty.
I don't think anybody's ever heard of him before.
We're on to Arizona.
Just got. Oh no, it's not over. It's not over. Falls back. Drops. Look at that. Was that a football or a laser beam? What was that? Kiki cutie and my ball. Oh, look at that. He didn't even have to catch that. It would have stuck into his stomach. It was thrown so hard. Woo. Oh. Man.
Go ahead, get your licks in. Get your licks in, because I got enough of both of you today that I'm gonna have a little fun with this.
Beautiful, right? So, what a game!
It wasn't. It truly wasn't a good game. From the start, Deshaun Watson was playing well. I mean, he played passed for 344, 2 touchdowns. They ran for 55 yards. He ran for 36 of them. So, another 19 yards between Duke Johnson and someone else. And he spread the ball around. It was Fuller. It was Brandon Cooks kind of torched us a few times. That one for 44 yards just killed us. We get Gilmore back, and our secondary looked worse. I mean, they look absolutely putrid last night. There was no pass rush, kind of like what Jim said. No, had all day, and I'll tell you what, this is why the Texans signed him to what they did. And this is why I was hoping they weren't going to do this, and then the Patriots could kind of get in a bidding war. I mean, I said this at the beginning of the year. I'd love to see Deshaun Watson in a Patriots uniform, and we'll never see that now because Bill O'Brien won't trade him to us.
No, you could have got him for a slice of bread, and
and he did it without his main man Hopkins. We'll talk about this all year till the season's over because he's killing it in Arizona. But I guess a few of the decent takeaways I seen, Cam actually was throwing the ball fairly well. I mean, I know he finished 26 for 40, but I mean, he did throw for 365. Granted, not the best defense, but he still had it. Running game, not so great. I was a little surprised. I mean, we only ran for 86 yards, and they held Harris for under 4 yards a carry, which I think that's our key. That's how we beat Baltimore. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They didn't give up on the run. They still tried running 24 times, but it just wasn't there. And in the end, of course, it came down to us not being able to stop that Houston offense. And there you go. It was just it kind of takes the wind out of your sails as a Pats fan because, we got back on track against the Jets. Luckily, we beat them. Then we took care of Baltimore from start to finish, which, and Jim said this last week, maybe Baltimore's not who we thought they were. And it's starting to look like that, especially yesterday.
Yeah.
Granted, that was a fumble, and it put him in the field position for Tennessee to kick that field goal. Oh, no, I'm sorry, for Henry to run in, but still, I don't know. I just don't know what to think of this Patriots team. We got 4 wins. And looking at their schedule, not to go too far into the future.
There's not much more out there.
No, and Jim, I'm with you.
Maybe one.
I mean,
one for sure.
Let's say the Jets. Yeah, 2 would be Arizona. That's going to be a tough game. Real tough game. Chargers, they get a really good offense. I don't know if the Patriots can stop them or score enough. We got the Rams. You never really know what Rams team is going to show up. But one thing is the same with the Rams every week. Their defense is friggin' good. Their defense is really good. Miami at Miami, we always struggle with that, versus the Bills. So, I predicted 7-9 at the beginning of the season, and I think I would be happy with that. But I did share a pretty funny meme today on a friend of mine that kind of threw something out there looking for Patriots fans if they were okay. And I found the meme of Rocky IV when Apollo Creed's trainer said throw the damn towel. I kind of posted that because I mean that's kind of where we're at now. We're at 4-6. Wild card isn't looking like anything. I don't see us being able to catch up to Buffalo or Miami. I just don't see us catching up in wins. I mean because that would mean they would have to lose every game, and I don't see that happening either. Now, granted, they had a little bit of quarterback thing yesterday with Tua and Fitzmagic, but Tua's going to have those games. He's a rookie. And honestly, now I kind of look at the schedules, and I think Buffalo or Miami can win it with 9 wins, maybe 10, and then I don't see a wild card coming out. Unless Miami and Buffalo both win out. But I don't know about that. That's a pretty tough road for them as well.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what anybody else thinks about benching Tua. Right? I mean, is that really the right move there? I mean, so you bring Fitzpatrick back in, or do you just let the kid? I mean, what do you think? He's going to be unstoppable, and he's not going to make any mistakes. You got to let him. You got to let him work through it. I mean, if you commit to him, then you commit to him. So I'd be curious to hear what people think if that was the right move or not. But I would have just stayed with him. I mean, why even why do that? What's that? You think that's going to make him better? It's going to help his psyche at all? No, you need to let him stay out there and go with it. And I think the pressure of being in a playoff chase there in Miami is what dictated that. But
you have to be realistic. This is still a young team that's growing, and you've got to let Tua figure these things out, push himself through these hard times. If not, if that's how you feel, leave Fitzpatrick in. You should have never taken him out. If you're going to revert back to him the second that Tua has any type of a hiccup, you're going to go right back to your safety net and Fitzpatrick. Like, no.
Yeah, man. What's it going to be, a platooning quarterback? I mean, so then you make it to the playoffs. If you are going to start going back and forth a little bit, then you get into the playoffs. Who's starting? Now you're not sure. You don't know which way you're going to go. And maybe that's a benefit because then the defense doesn't know if it's a righty or a lefty, right? You got to gear up for both. Maybe there is something to that, but I think you just stick with the kid. Well,
the Dolphins did successfully run that start the Wildcat years ago and had
terrible.
They had huge success with it, which I never understood why a defense couldn't figure out that a running back throwing the ball isn't something that you should be worried about.
Right.
They would always, oh God, the running back's taking the snap. What are we supposed to do? How about get ready for a run? Like, why is that hard to figure out? What do I want to do? Let the running back run me over or tempt him to throw the ball 40 yards downfield? Yeah, go ahead and throw that ball. Like, if you beat me, good on you. But yeah, I don't know.
I will say I did hear Flores talk about that swap, and he said it's because the offense just wasn't flowing well then.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought the same thing too. And then I seen an interview with Tua and Fitz. And Tua was like, I learned so much when I got taken out. And I started watching how Fitz was running the offense, how he was handling the pressure, how I wasn't. So it seems like it's and who knows, he may just be saying all the right things. I don't know. They both may. But it seemed like they were okay. And Fitz came right out and said, this is not my team. This is Tua's team. I came in to help him out. I'm going to continue to help him and mentor him and make him the best quarterback he can be. So I think with maybe other situations, that may cause some kind of controversy, and I don't want to go on a tangent about the Dolphins because I hate them, but I do like Tua a lot. I really do, and you have to respect Fitz for coming out and saying that about a quarterback that basically took his job. But Tua will be the starter going forward. I know they said that, and who knows, maybe they'll swap out every now and then. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing. It didn't seem to hurt to his psyche because, I mean, he got benched in that national championship game. I got hurt when Kyler Murray came in, won, and then healed up. And Nick Saban said, "Hey, Kyler, you're going to be sitting the bench. Tua's coming back in. So why don't you ship your ass to weak ass Oklahoma?" So,
man,
I don't know.
Well, not to get too far off this, but you talk about young guys coming up big for you. Bird went off yesterday. Like, he kind of disappeared for a little while, but
he did.
And I thought it was going to be the Jacoby Myers show for the rest of the year, but he came on strong, 132 and a touchdown on only 6 receptions. So not only was he putting up big numbers, but he did it on a very small sample size. Usually 132, you're going to be 8, 9, 10 receptions for that. So he was doing some work in that, but man, it hurts my heart so bad to see Bird and Myers going off on the offense and N'Keal Harry just disappearing still. I can't understand how that much talent is a non-factor on a team. He's got to be like one of the biggest first round wide receiver busts in years since like Mike Williams with the Lions years ago. And they went back to back wide receivers in the first round. Remember that?
Yeah.
But man, I thought he was an absolute shoo-in. And
Jalen Hurts. That's right, Shanny. Sorry. Jalen Hurts, not Murray. Yeah. My brother just corrected me on the chat. My bad.
Yeah, but absolutely crazy what it was. And N'Keal Harry ended up with 5 for 41, and he had 8 targets, which is crazy. He had the
zero separation. I mean, if you watch Pat's games, he just can't get away from he just can't get away from the defenders. Yesterday he made a couple of catches, and I'm like, okay, maybe he'll get on a roll, and there's just no separation. You know what I mean? There's just no separation to it. So it's like, I don't know, such a big body, and it hurts to see guys like DK Metcalf that can run down a cornerback 40 yards away, and that we could have had him. I mean, I know a lot of other teams could have as well, but I mean, we targeted a wide receiver. Belichick was strictly going after a wide receiver, which is kind of not the norm for him. But there was something with Harry that he loved, and I mean, it looked like a great pick by size and supposed speed. But again, speed doesn't mean separation either. So
no, and he's 6'4", 225. I mean, he's not
he's
shredded. Receiver. And
no, not at all.
I watched him at Arizona State, and he didn't separate a lot, but you threw the ball up, and he came down with it consistently. They would you put him in the end zone, you throw it up, it's his, and that's just week in and week out how it was. That's why I was so excited to see him come into the NFL, and then thinking, oh man, him going to the Patriots with Brady there. I thought it was going to be like almost a Randy Moss type of connection that they would have had, but he's not having it with anybody. Just disappearing.
Yes, and there was a lot of talk that Brady wouldn't throw to him because he didn't know the routes and things of that nature. But it's like, maybe it wasn't Brady, because a lot of people blame Brady, saying he wouldn't give the young receiver time. He wouldn't give him a chance because he doesn't like young receivers. Well, he's not performing for Cam either. So it's like, or any other quarterback that's played this year. Look at Hoyer's played, Stidham's played. So he's just not getting that separation. So it's not a Brady factor.
Yeah.
I don't know how long, I don't know how much longer that they're going to try this, but, two undrafted wide receivers on that squad is outperforming you.
Yep.
That speaks volumes of a first round pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is year 2 for him, and he was hurt for almost all of 2019. He didn't get much out of him in 2019. Maybe, he hasn't even played a full season in the NFL yet, but at the same time, he's your first pick, number 32 overall. He should be performing at this point.
Right.
But, I remember years ago when you guys picked up Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco. I don't remember what he was at the time, right? But the big thing with him was he couldn't learn the playbook. The Patriots playbook was might as well have been written in French and used like triangles and hexagons instead of X's and O's, because he just had no idea from what they were saying there. So maybe he's having the same issue. Maybe it's just learning the play. The playbook is too complex, and maybe he needs to go somewhere where it's a little bit easier. Just run straight, turn around, run 10 yards and stop.
Run to the fire hydrant, go left,
turn around.
When you're parallel with the street light, look up.
Yeah. Right.
Like, come on.
I don't know. Here, so John, I got a good question for you, talking about the Patriots. Do you think Cam is getting another contract, or is he done? Thank you, Carlos, for the question. What do you think?
I think if Jimmy G's available, and again, I don't want it, I have a feeling if Belichick hangs around, I think he's going to go after Jimmy G. I truly do. I don't think he's going to pay him, like I said before. Can Cam still play football? Yes, he can. But, there's no receivers on that team for him. There's nothing. He doesn't have a tight end to throw to. I think any quarterback right now, look at Brady the last, 6-7 games of last year. Me and my brother Shaney talk about it. He commented earlier about Jalen Hurts, not Murray. Me and him have talked about it, and they sucked from because last year they were 7-0 or something like that. I want to say they started 7 or 8-0, and then they went to shit the second they had no wide receivers. So, front line, somebody just threw up there, no front line. We have a great rushing offensive line. Pass blocking form, not yesterday, you're right. They were on them all game, but there's just nobody on that team that's stepping up. Where's the tight end play? What did Brady thrive on? What did Drew Bledsoe thrive on? Ben Coates. Look at these guys with offenses. Look at down in Tampa. They surrounded him with 3. And unfortunately, Howard got hurt. But you get 3 tight ends because that's Brady's offense. I think Cam would be a lot better with kind of a safe out. I think with Burkhead gone now, it sounds like he's done for the year. I think you're going to see a lot more James White, and as you should. As you should. I think a 2-headed monster between Harris and James White I think you're going to start to see. But I mean, look at the weapons we have. They're undrafted free agents. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. I hope they thrive into like the next, who knows, Jerry Rice out of it. But I mean, where's our number one? Where's our tight ends? And I don't know. I don't know if Cam's going to get another look or not. I mean, he's going to probably want to get paid at least a little bit more than, what Bill's probably willing to pay him. But I mean, what's the call for starting quarterbacks out there?
Yeah, what did they get? What is he under? Was he a 1 year?
I mean, 1 year, like
1 million or something like that.
Couple million, maybe 4 or 5 with incentives.
Yeah.
And I think he's did well up until COVID hit. I truly do. I think after he got sick, I think there was something that kind of keeps lingering. I mean, again, he threw for 365 yards or something last night. So I mean, it's not like he can't do it. He looked good.
Right. He didn't have a bad game.
No, not at all. It's just
26 for 40. You don't love that when you look at Watson. Like we were talking about in the pre-show, Deshaun Watson had 9 incompletions in the whole game.
Right.
Like that's, but we also said that that defense wasn't putting up anything against him. It was just like, here, Deshaun, just wherever you want to throw, we'll get out of the way. And I think some people accidentally stepped in front of the ball by mistake and batted those 9 down. But
I mean, he made some great throws. Watson made some throws that I was like, how did that not get tipped or intercepted or anything like that? It's just like, no, I don't like Jimmy G, and not at all. Not at all. I don't want to see Jimmy G back. He's made out of graham crackers. My brother and I used to joke about Greg Odom. His knees were made out of graham crackers, and I think that's what Jimmy G's made out of. Because he just gets hurt. He can't stay on the field. I mean, he got hurt here in New England. I mean, when Brady was suspended, and we had to bring in Jacoby Brissett. So I mean, he didn't even stay healthy with us the whole year. So I don't like it. I just think that may be Bill's last hurrah, or I just don't see him rebuilding. I don't see him taking a quarterback. I mean, he's too old for that. He's been around for 20 plus years. It's I don't know.
You know what might actually help Cam out is this beautiful play here.
Oh, that was the pass down the sidelines right there. Boom.
I mean, look at that. Bam.
What a great throw. Great throw, great catch over the shoulder.
Right in the bucket. Look at that. Perfect.
I mean, it really was a good throw. Now, granted, the receiver had a
that was a nice move for the receiver for Bird.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a change.
Spin all the way around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the ball was put where only Bird could catch it. You know what I mean? Which is, I'm not saying Cam isn't good. I just don't know if he's the right guy for this team because of the weapons. I don't know who would be good for this team. Maybe like a Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams package. I don't know. I don't see that friggin' happening either. So I honestly don't think it matters who you put at quarterback with the offensive firepower that we have. I just don't.
You're right. I agree. I think Cam coming back, if he did come back, it's not going to help anything. You're not going to win because you brought him back, and maybe there's some of the guys that opted out come back, and maybe there's some guys back from injury. But to me, he's not the answer. And like you said, I don't know. I don't know what other team would take a chance on him right now. There's probably a few out there that have had some injuries that aren't really sure which way they're going at quarterback. But to go with Cam, there's maybe one or two. I can't think of many that would even, I think, entertain it. Maybe as a backup. I mean, is he ready to take the backup role on a team? I don't know. Maybe that's an option for him. But I don't think he comes back to New England. To me, if either you go full rebuild and Belichick leaves, I don't think Garoppolo comes. I don't think that's what they're going to do. I don't think Belichick would even. I think about Garoppolo and why would I want to go back? I mean, you got a 49ers team you got the pieces there. You can do something out there. Mm-hmm. Why leave that to come back to New England where they're not going to do anything probably for his career?
I don't think they're going to want to keep him, though. I don't think they're going to want to keep him.
That's the question. Yeah.
That's why I think he's going to come back. I don't think it's going to be Jimmy G so much wanting to leave San Francisco.
Yep.
But I mean, honestly, who else is going to jump on Jimmy G if the Niners decline it?
Are you letting Jimmy G go and to hand the reins over to Mullins, or
No.
Like
Mullins hasn't looked bad when his offense is there.
But there's no.
I don't think he's
not
in every week. I don't think he's.
We'd have to see.
I think
a full
Cam,
season with.
I don't think he's got the talent to elevate that team to winning. Like Jimmy G does have the talent. It's just the consistency that he lacks drastically. But I think you have to bring Cam back for the fact that there's no plan B in place for New England right now. Like they have nobody behind him. I mean, obviously
there's nobody in front of him either.
Yeah, that's
there's
true.
nobody anywhere. The whole team is,
No, but if you look at quarterback situations, obviously you don't believe in Stidham, right?
Nope.
I mean, that's kind of, I think
that's
his
known.
fate. His fate is now sealed. Hoyer is not a starting quarterback in the NFL and hasn't
never
been
was.
for
was for a long time
since he was 12. But so who do you have? Like you have to bring Cam back because there's nothing. There's nothing there. So you have to draft a quarterback this year because Stidham's not the guy. You have to bring Cam back because you're not going to draft a quarterback that's likely to step in and just take over the offense. So you've got to bring Cam back to be a stopgap until you get a quarterback that's ready to step in. And that might be one of those things to where, John, you've now entered the quarterback carousel, and it's going to be this year in, year out. Let's see what Stidham's got. Let's see what, the mock drafts right now have New England taking Trey Lance a lot out of North Dakota State.
Yeah.
That's a guy out of North Dakota State. He could be Josh Allen. He could suck. I mean,
could be Jared Stidham. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. So this could be a continuous, 3-year process. Let's evaluate this guy. Nope. Let's evaluate that guy. Nope. Just a constant carousel for the next couple of years. But Cam, at least you've got something there with Cam that you've got a starting caliber quarterback. He's not, I don't think he's the elite Cam that you saw MVP years in Carolina, but I think it's somebody that you've got to hold on to until you've got something that you can hand the reins to, because you can't let him go and draft a rookie quarterback that's not in the top 5 and expect him to just take the offense and go, I don't think. But here's a good question for you. Honestly, if Dak isn't ready or doesn't sign with the Cowboys, I think the offense would suit Cam very well over Dalton. What do you think?
I agree, middle bro. I agree. Only because of the weapons. Again, if we had the weapons that the Cowboys had, I think we'd be talking a whole lot different about Cam. But again, our team has nothing. The Cowboys are stacked. I mean, Elliott finally ran, and that's why I put, how about them Cowboys? Jim, look out right now. Just look out, my friend, because the NFC East, as atrocious as the records show, it's going to be. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to Thanksgiving watching the Cowboys and Redskins play, and I don't think I ever would have said that before.
Yeah.
But back to the question. Yes, I do think Cam would fit right into that offense. He has the arm, definitely the receivers on that team. I mean, has the running back. Joe, your boys caught a really nice touchdown yesterday.
It's funny because I literally have that queued up to play.
Why don't you play?
So let's cue it up. All right.
That thing in one hand handed grab was a really nice catch too. I got to
see if I can get it. I'm kind of frozen up there, but what's going on?
I mean, watch that. I mean, look at that friggin' catch.
There we go. Incredible. Look at this. How do
falling, turning, spinning?
I'll tell you what, whoever sports number 88 is always good on that team. You can say what you want about Dez, and of course Michael Irvin speaks for itself, but whoever puts that number on, man.
I mean, that defies
Drew Pearson, back in the 80s, yeah.
That play was that catch was incredible, and I said it. I said he was going to be outstanding, and I was so pissed that the Jets didn't take him. So mad, and that's why. Like, great, we've got an offensive tackle that can protect Joe Flacco, or we could have had that level of talent catching the ball for Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
perfect.
It's going to haunt. It's going to haunt me for years. And as the unofficial Jets GM, I just want everybody to know that would have been my number one pick in the draft. So,
so I'll throw this back out to my brother and the others that are commenting. So say Dak doesn't sign with Dallas. Say he doesn't. Let's just say he's healthy. Okay, let's throw the health part aside. He comes back. He's strong. Okay, he doesn't want to sign with Dallas. Does Bill go after Dak?
So
I don't know.
So
again, I'm just playing devil's advocate right now. I know I'm throwing around a lot of quarterbacks, but what if?
So two things. One, as stacked as Dallas is with Dak earlier in the season, they weren't winning. Right? They had all the tools. They had everything they needed, and they couldn't get the job done. Then he's out for the year, and Dalton, forget about it. So I think if I'm Dak, do I want to go back? And I get it. Maybe Jones don't want to pay him. Maybe there's a thing there. But if it's my choice to go to Dallas loaded or New England unloaded, where am I going? I'm staying right where I am. I'm staying where I am. And I think, so Cam saying, would he be the answer for Dallas? Again, if I think of Cam versus Dak, Dak wins. And Dak wasn't winning. Dak wasn't winning with the team. So I don't think plugging Cam in equates to wins either. Sometimes I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, you're a Giants fan, so you're wrong about, let's see, you guys are what, 3-7? About 70% of the time.
Well, it's going to be 4 and 7 this week.
No, I think that's a great point, because from Dallas's perspective, I just looked it up real quick. If they were to franchise him again in 2021, he would be set to make nearly $40 million next season.
They're not going to do that again.
I don't think they can, for the fact that they're talking about the salary cap actually lowering because of all of the COVID stuff and the revenue stream being lower this year. That's going to affect how the salary cap not moving up, but actually moving back. So how could you commit $40 million to one player with everything else you've got? Because they're paying Amari Cooper $100 million. They've got Zeke at 90, I think his contract is. I don't know what they are on an annual basis, but those are big contracts. And to say that you can hand Dak $40 million and still put a competitive team on the field, that's hard to do, because their defense needs help desperately. It's not a lack of offense that's losing them games when Dak was in. It was the fact that they couldn't stop anybody.
The defense is horrendous. We talked about it on some of the shows where, what was it, Odell Beckham, the one game. They pitched it back to Odell. He ran like 68 yards, and it was like the defense was standing still. He just went right through them like it was nothing. And,
you might as well have taken 12 cardboard cutouts and just randomly placed it on the field from the stands and just
Did they?
Maybe they did.
What's that?
I don't know.
Maybe the players were in the stands and the cardboard cutouts
they
were
could
on the
have been.
field.
Yeah, I saw that commercial where
Like
they
that
made
Bud
that
Light?
guy. Yeah. So maybe that's what it was. He was
that was it.
The little electric football game where all the players turned on their own, and I never understood that. Although I played it my whole life.
Joe Namath. Wasn't it Joe Namath? Electric football?
I don't know who it was, but
I think
all I know
is
they all went their own way. You never control them. But anyway, sorry. Back on this. They gave up a lot of points, and
so
it definitely wasn't Dak's fault. I had him in fantasy, and he went nuts the first 5 games he played, 4 games.
Ridiculous!
Jesus.
Yeah, and you look. So this year under the tag, he's making $31.4 million.
Yeah.
So they're going to give him basically a $9 million raise, and have less money to spend on the defensive side of the ball. So how do you do that? You kind of either have to lock him up to a team-friendly contract with this injury and try and leverage that in the team's favor, or you've got to let him walk.
Right. Yeah. Right. He's not on the contract now, right? So, after the
he
season,
is. Yeah. So, they would have to franchise him a second time.
Right. So now we'll see what they decide to do, because you don't know what you're going to get, right? You don't know how long it's going to take him to be 100%. So maybe he does walk, and I'm sure there's plenty of teams out there that, if it's Cam and Dak are on the market, right? They call him Dak, right? They're going to try and get him signed in. So he'll have more suitors. Sure.
Yeah, but he wouldn't sign for 105 guaranteed for 4 years. What was it? 4/120?
Yeah, I think so.
Or 4/130, whatever it was. So to me, they have to go 40. He's going to want $40 million.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, teams like maybe, I don't know, Detroit, we're talking about quarterback situation, Detroit, New England, Chicago. God, if you put if you put a heartbeat, behind the center at Chicago,
Right.
you're going to win games.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right. Washington. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Washington.
teams.
Yeah.
A lot of teams that Jacksonville. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
No,
there's a
but
lot of teams looking for quarterbacks.
It's scary to think about because the Patriots do have the money to spend. Like you could pay Dak. I bet you could, with the injury, you could probably pay him 33 a year, and he would probably take that, right? Because he's got to prove himself coming back. You can't just hand him a $40 million contract, and you don't know if he's going to play.
I'll tell you what. After his first 4 games, I mean, he was killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just absolutely killing it with that team.
Right, but it's hard to be able to run and plant and everything when one foot's facing backwards and the other one's looking forward. So
I agree. That's why I'm saying health aside, if he comes back and he's given a clear bill of health and he's running like he did before, he's going to want $40 million a year. Now, if there's question marks come January, February, March, you know what I mean? If he's still not, walking and they probably won't say much about it because, of course, they don't want to let that out. But if I'm Dak and I'm a free agent, I'm letting everybody know how I feel,
I mean, really, if they could just shore up the defense for him, does he sign a team-friendly contract? Because he knows how good the offense can be.
Right.
And they need somebody on defense. They need They need some upgrades on defense to stop the other teams because they haven't been able to stop anybody.
No.
And maybe the answer for him is to stay where he's at. I mean, I think that's his best option, at least on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
For the teams that are out there looking right now.
Right. Well, and it also depends how New England is. New England's very good at leveraging contracts to benefit them. So that, and I bring that up because I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes' contract and that breakdown. This year it's a $10 million hit. Next year, $22 million. The following year, $29 million. Then $40 in 2023. And then it kind of hangs around there. But then when you get to 2027, it's a $60 million annual payout. And then back down to 40, 50, 52 in 2031, which will probably still be a steal in 2031. 52 million will probably be just the going rate.
That's sick. That's
for quarterback.
Sick.
But
that's sick money. I mean, come on.
Right.
What are we talking about?
But the next 3 years,
football. Come on.
The next 3 years, it's under 30 million.
Right.
Well, we'll see if there's no fans in the stands next year again, and there's no revenue coming in except the TV money. Well, at what point do they say, "Hey, we gotta rein this in a little bit"?
Right, and the cap's going to go down. They've already said that the cap is expected to lower this year. So because of that,
but if they're going to pay anybody, they're paying their quarterbacks. They're paying Mahomes. They're paying Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
They're all these quarterbacks and big name players, Zeke and Cooper, and
but
Hopkins.
At 22 and 29 million for the next 2 years, it gives them flexibility to front end a couple of contracts to balance that out and to continue to keep talent. And then, you front end the contracts and then you've got talent cheap on the back end when his numbers start going up to maintain that. And I bet New England could do the same thing with Dak since they have so much money right now to pay him heavy up front and then lighter on the backside. And then you can start, as the cap tightens, then you've got money on the backside to add weapons when you're not paying him as much because you front loaded it with all of that cap space that they have. It would be the smart thing to do. And the Cowboys don't have any cap space. So I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I think I should throw my hat in the GM spectrum.
Why don't you apply? I think it's on Indeed. You can apply for the job, I think.
Can you? Over the cap.
I got an alert early this afternoon
that they're looking for one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it's a voluntary position, but
well, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I'll have a retirement, so I can afford to do a little
there you go.
There you go.
voluntary work. But
once that pension kicks in, then you come over to the Meadowlands.
that'd be perfect. So I'm trying to find the Seahawks, Bills. Where the hell?
So somebody wrote in Pat's
Cowboys.
strength was the running game, and he only ran 24 times. I agree, Michael. I don't know why. Probably because they weren't averaging that many yards a carry, and they had to keep up with the Texans because we couldn't stop them. That's what I'm guessing. They couldn't afford to have a 75-yard 9-play drive that kills 9 minutes because the game would have been over. So how did the Pats lose that game to Houston? Well, watch the Patriots play defense against Houston, and that will answer your question. Watson shredded them all game. And I'm talking great throws. I mean, there was a lot of great coverage by the Pats. And he just put it places. I mean, he put it where only his receiver could catch it. And that's why I wish he didn't sign with Houston and New England was going to sign him this year. God, I was hoping that.
Yeah.
Or how about draft him?
Well, we all picked the Pats. I mean, in their last show, I thought there was no chance the Texans have no weapons.
No.
We said, how are they going to beat them? There's no chance of them. I mean, the Pats have no weapons either, but I thought the Texans were in worse shape going in. But, hey, prove me wrong.
Watson had part of all but 19 yards of that offense.
That's saying something.
All but 19.
So
he won the game.
When we were talking about it, what the Patriots do is they find the person to shut down to win the game, and we said that was going to be Will Fuller. Should have been Deshaun Watson, but I mean, even Will Fuller had a good game. He didn't even. I thought they were going to like really lock him down, but he still had what was it like 6 for 80 or something like that.
Yeah,
I think it was. He had a good game. Brandon Cooks. I didn't know he was still playing football, but he was all over the place. When I saw that, like Cooks had a good game, and I was like, okay, so they're shutting down Fuller and Cooks is going to town, but then Fuller still ended up with great numbers. Let's see. So Brandon Cooks was 4 for 85, and Will Fuller was 6 for 80. So they couldn't stop anybody. Jordan Akins, their tight end that nobody's ever heard of, was 5 for 83.
We'll take him. Hopefully we sign him next year.
It was ridiculous. I mean, but your boy Ryan Izzo, 59 yards on 2 catches. He had a 50-yard pass play, which, that's something, but the defense,
Show me it next week too. Show me it next week when we're gonna need it against Arizona.
Man.
Show me that.
Whew. That's gonna be bad. Well,
there's no chance.
Kyler Murray.
No, that's gonna be the game we win.
Yeah.
That'll be the game we win.
You're probably right.
That's the game we're gonna win.
I got to see. I know Kyler Murray's questionable, but speaking of injuries, what's the update on Burkhead? Have you seen anything?
So he actually stayed in Houston last night. So from what I heard is, so they kept him in Houston overnight, and I think he's still there now. So they're thinking an ACL and an MCL from a few things. Nothing set in stone because I was looking on the internet earlier, but the fact that he stayed in Houston probably isn't a good sign, which is unfortunate.
Brutal injuries this year.
Yeah. Wayne Corbett to the Pats.
There you go. He's a walk-on. He's a walk-on tryout, just like
how
you did with the
about we
Jets.
sign Chad Pennington too? We'll reunite them too.
So,
speaking of the Jets, can we stop talking about the Patriots now?
This is the longest we ever went on the Pats. I think.
I know. Let's stop. I start seeing Wayne Corbett to New England, and I want to tear up because he's right. Wayne Corbett would probably be better than most of our receivers. That's
still today.
He was good. I mean, the concussions did him in, but
he was a good receiver for a while.
He was.
He was outstanding. Little feisty guy. He would have fit right in New England, but he would have
slot. He would have been our slot guy with Jules out.
That's right.
Right. But I think he had like as many concussions as his jersey number. So I just hope he's doing okay today. I mean, I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him in a while. I should reach out to him just to see how he's doing. But he's got my number. He never calls me. So anyway,
he knows where to find you.
I'm here every week. All he's got to do is log in and be like, hey, man, I'm doing good. Concussion number 72 wasn't as bad as 71. That's all I need. But anyway, all right. So we'll wrap up the Patriots. We'll be back Friday to preview them against Arizona. We'll see how Kyler Murray is. Apparently he has a injury he suffered an AC joint injury to his throwing shoulder. So that apparently he's still going to be fine to play. I don't know. Sam Darnold can't play with it. We'll get into that in a little bit, but apparently Kyler Murray is fine to play. Sam Darnold misses 6 games with it. So, but yeah, we'll be right back. We're going to open up a new show. We'll talk Jets recap against the Chargers, and we'll see you guys here in a minute. Should be getting that notification in a few seconds. So, for the Patriots fans out there, stay strong. John, he's always here for you. Reach out to him if you need him. And until Friday, we'll be back to recap the Arizona game and what it's going to take for you guys to pull off that upset. So until then, for John, for Jim, I'm Joe. We will see you guys Friday.